Yeah, I badly need a haircut. We're lads, man, it's Kebab here, and today we are doing an unboxing video. Only the second time I've done one of these on the channel, but this time I'm actually telling you guys what this is. It's a Wii U. Now, why I bought a Wii U in 2021, I'll explain to you later in the video, but for now, we're just going to go through what's in this box. Now, in terms of what is my history with the Wii U, I have very little history with this console. I've barely played it. The only person I knew who actually owned a Wii U was my cousin, and I only played that for like half an hour playing Mario Maker, so I have very little experience with this console, so it's kind of a fresh experience for me. Maybe not for you guys, because, you know, it's a 9-year-old console. I also understand this is probably not the most ideal place to record a video, mainly because I don't have a table or anything, and I'm basically just sitting here with the box on my lap. But I'm going to move the box over here and just take whatever out of the box to show you guys. Yeah, I don't really know how to explain myself that much, but yeah, let's get into it. Now, as some of you guys do know, I already actually do own a Wii U game. I own Super Mario Bros. U, because I ordered the Wii U before, and it didn't arrive, but they sent me the game anyway, because they were like, you know what, fuck you, you can have the game, but not the Wii U. So, I do already own a Wii U game, but, you know, when you're ordering a Wii U, you kind of have to order, another game. So, got Smash Bros. Wii U. Mainly because 3D World was out of stock. How good is this game? I've no idea. I've never played it, as I said. Very little experience with the Wii U. I've heard it's better in some ways than Brawl, but worse in others. Like, the single player is meant to be really, really bad in this game, but the character roster, the maps, and the gameplay are meant to be really fun. Expect a video on this within the next month. Yeah, I've just teased a future video. Next up, of course, the most significant thing about the Wii U. The Wii U Gamepad. Now, of course, this thing is absolutely loaded with features. It has, of course, the camera, the mic, TV controls, the amiibo touch, the touch screen itself, little stylus. All of that adds up to a really, really bad battery life. I've only charged this thing about twice, but from what I've played about 4 hours, and it like died almost within them 4 hours. So the battery life is pretty bad with this. You're probably going to want to have it plugged in the majority of the time. But my one actually came in pretty good condition. I do have a close-up appearing on the screen probably now. But a couple of scratches, of course. The screen, barely any scratches at all, to be honest. What was that sound? But yeah, the screen, barely any scratches at all. The shell itself, of course, fingerprint marks, but most of them are actually from me playing it. Not actually, because I cleaned it, of course, with you know, the coronavirus and all that going on. You kind of have to clean everything that gets delivered to you. Maybe that's just me being paranoid. Probably is me being paranoid. But I actually find this thing quite comfortable. A lot of people don't like this thing because they find it too bulky. It's a lot lighter than I expected. Its size makes it one of the most comfortable controllers I've actually ever used. There is like some controller, like the Wiimote. You can't really play. You can play that like 4 or 5 hours, and your hands just end up cramping up because it's so small and just not a fun thing to use. This thing, very big, very comfy in your hands. The buttons are all big, easy to grip. Very happy with the Wii U Gamepad. I forgot what it was called for a second. Next two things I'm going to do together. They're pretty boring. The Wii U, or the Gamepad adapter, and then, of course, your standard power brick for your Wii U. I need voice crack there, so let's go to it. This is for the console. This is the Irish and the UK plug, if you've never seen it before. This is one we use. Boring old power brick. It powers your console. The charger, there's a bit more to say about it. I bought this second hand, of course, so I'm pretty sure this is an off-brand charger. I'll have it on screen. There's no markings to say it's made by Nintendo. I'm assuming whoever sold this to the store I bought it from simply just they lost their charger or it broke and they bought one off Amazon and just packed it in. Second-hand chargers don't tend to be as effective as real chargers. They tend to like either put slightly higher, slightly lower voltages than are needed. But that's just what I got told by an Apple employee. He could be saying that to make me buy a proper charger, which he probably was. You know, honestly, there's probably no difference, but it's something interesting in the box, I guess. Next up, another pretty insignificant, boring thing, the Wii U sensor bar. The only reason they included this because the Wii U is backwards compatible with Wii games. I don't actually think there probably is. I'd say Nintendo Land probably needs this, but I'd say for the most part, most games probably don't need the sensor bar. What is there to say? It's a sensor bar. It's a different colour to the Wii one I have. My Wii one's grey, so. And the final thing in the box, of course, is the Wii U console itself. Now, this thing is quite big. It's one of the biggest recent Nintendo consoles. It's about, if you chopped it in half and put it on top of each other, it'd be about the same size as the GameCube. It's bigger than the Wii, like it's the same width and height thereabouts, but it's much longer. And yeah, it dwarfs the Switch in size in terms of, but the Switch is a handheld anyway, well, hybrid console, but yeah, it's much bigger than the Switch. In terms of features, you've got, of course, your eject, your power, your disc slot up the front, your SD card, your 2 USB ports at the front, then another 2 USB at the back, HDMI out, AV out, sensor bar, and your power. All that's there. In terms of its condition, it's definitely in a lot worse condition than the Gamepad is. I'll show you now on screen. It's a lot more scratched at the top. The front has a good... Actually, the front isn't that scratched, but has a few kind of marks. But I mean, you wouldn't really be that bothered if your console's that scratched up. You're not really going to see it. Yeah, it's not going to stand out much when it's in your media center. You're not really going to see it that much. So if your console's scratched, as long as it works, I don't really care. Of course, it's cooler if you get one that's not scratched, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah, I mean, it's quite significant. It's pretty heavy as well for a console of its size. But I mean, yeah, I quite like the design of the Wii U. I don't know if I prefer it to the Wii or not. I haven't formed an opinion yet to say. It's definitely much simpler. The Wii has more character. But I don't know, the sleeker design of it, it's growing on me. It's growing on me, definitely. Anyway, that's the console, and that is everything in the box. Now, in terms of what I didn't get in the box, I didn't get a HDMI cable, and I didn't get the little charger stand for the console. Reason being, I bought this as a discounted model. The store had two options. You either had the full price one or the discounted one. The discounted one was the only one in stock. I mean, I've already got a HDMI cable. That doesn't really bother me that much. I'm more bothered by the fact that it didn't come with a charger. But I mean, I could probably pick one up at a later date. Not really a huge deal. Got it for a good price. So at the end of the day, it works. The whole setup works. Everything works. It's pretty good condition. So I'm not really complaining about that. So we get to the part of the video that a lot of you guys probably skipped to. Why do I think you should buy a Wii U in 2021? Number 1. You couldn't afford a Switch. Now for an actual serious number 1, price. Now the Wii U console itself, it is a bit more on the expensive side. The GameCube, the N64, the Wii, you're all going to get for cheaper. The Wii U, you're going to be spending at least €100, dollars, or about £90 for it. It is a bit more on the pricier side. But the games themselves, they're very cheap. It's very rare that you'll find a first-party Nintendo game on the N64 or the GameCube that is below €40. You're probably going to, something like Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, you're going to be in the range of about €40, $40, or about £35. They are pretty pricey. On the other hand, Wii U exclusives. Both of these together, £30. For the same price that you bought, Mario 64, you could have bought both of these. Are these better games than Mario 64? That's up for you to decide. But even the highly sought after Wii U games, something like 3D World, they're still only about £30. They're still less than you'd be getting from the majority of the N64 and GameCube first party library. Now the only Nintendo consoles they are really going to be getting games for cheaper are the DS and the Wii. But speaking of the Wii, number 2, backwards compatibility with the Wii. Now the Wii is an amazing console with some amazing games, and a lot of these games you can pick up for dirt cheap, although the prices are kind of starting to rise because that Wii nostalgia craze is starting to come about, but they're not going to rise as significantly as, let's say, the GameCube, because there's a lot more Wii games out there and there's a lot more Wii consoles, so the price will probably only rise by about 50%. Thereabouts. But simply being able to play titles like, Wii Sports Resort, Smash Bros. Brawl, Mario Galaxy 2 and 1, I don't know why. Sorry, Mario Galaxy 3. Simply being able to play all these games alongside using pretty much every Wii accessory is a pretty big feature in my opinion. Number 3, the games. Now of course the Switch has a lot of great titles, but a lot of these are actually Wii U ports. Look at the games like Breath of the Wild, Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and the upcoming Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. All of these are available on the Wii U. Yes, of course, they aren't going to run as well and look as well, but it's hard to argue when you're getting these games for half to a third of the price, when the only real downside you're getting is a bit of a performance dip and maybe lacking some DLC. And finally, the Wii U Virtual Console. Now, the Virtual Console on the Switch is basically non-existent. Of course, you do have that NES and the SNES thing you get for, getting Switch Online, but besides that, the Virtual Console on the Switch is pretty much non-existent. And also the shutdown of the Wii Virtual Console, the Wii U and the 3DS remain the only way to play a lot of these older games for a lot of people. It's also probably the easiest way for a lot of people like myself who make YouTube videos and do gameplay to record a lot of these games, instead of having this extremely complex setup just to record Mario 64. So until the Switch gets a proper Virtual Console, this remains the only way to play a lot of these games. unless you want to pirate them, which I wouldn't recommend because Nintendo will definitely sue you. And they are my 4 main reasons for buying a Wii U in 2021. Of course, this console does have a few problems, but I think if you're ever planning on picking up a Wii U, this is the prime time. You have to remember they only made 13 million of these things. Compared to basically every other console, that is horrendously low. Wii Sports sold about 5 times more units than this thing did. A lot of Nintendo fans and YouTubers, like myself, are predicting this console is probably going to have a surge similar to the GameCube in the next year or two. And with that, the supply of these consoles is going to dry up pretty quick. You have to remember, Scott has 5 of these things. So I think if you're ever planning on buying a Wii U, now is probably the prime time, as the price is probably going to rise pretty significantly in the next coming years. Now that is just simply my opinion. If you have anything else to say about this, please leave your opinions down in the comments. I will gladly read them and then tell you 100 ways on why you were wrong. So that's all from me today. I'm now off to sell my foot to buy more Wii U games.